Greetings, family. This is Bomani Tyehimba, and I'm with my good brother, Kala Genesis. And family, we always got these wonderful topics to talk about, because we're all about Black Power nation building. So tonight's subject is building diaspora communities are vital and necessary in Africa. And the quote that I have on the thumbnail, which is Marcus Garvey, says, "Take advantage of every opportunity where there is none. Make it for yourself." Marcus Garvey. Now, people know me; they know I love Marcus Garvey because of the quotes, the philosophies, the opinion, the life and lessons, and the leadership, and things like that. And also, what I have for you, family, I have a 90-second Malcolm X excerpt that's on our website talking about Black people in Africa. So we're going to share that and we're going to dialogue and discuss that. My good brother Kala, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling on fire, man. I'm ready for
Yes,
the revolution, man.
Man, you're just always down to share information with our people, man. Appreciate your love and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Representing Black African infrastructure, which we're definitely going to talk about. Because when we talk about building communities, you can't build no communities unless you have some Black African infrastructure, right?
Yep, you have to have infrastructure,
Mhm.
and it means the key word is structure. Infrastructure means interconnected, how you have multiple systems operating in one space, the grid. We have to get that. We're not going back to the Stone Ages. No way, And Black people all around the world are always on the edge of, while the rest of the world's going forward, right? Why do you think so many of our brothers and sisters in Ukraine right now? Ukraine has what? Infrastructure, Every time you see an African, right? And they'll say, this is the sad part about this, brother Bomani, right? The Black man, whether he's African or African American, right? He goes where the infrastructure is, right? He doesn't want to build the infrastructure where he's from, right? He goes where the infrastructure is and then suddenly come up with these crazy theories. We were already here. We were the original Vikings, No, you're just comfortable with the white man's infrastructure. So you think you're going to go to the white man's country and replace him, instead of right there in your own country. Well, I heard every excuse why Africans are in Ukraine right now. Well, they got better school. What, you got a school building, Unilag in Nigeria. You got school there. Why do you got to go to their country? What are they going to teach you that you can't teach yourself?
And that's what I'm saying about the quote that I just laid for people as far as Marcus Garvey. We see that there's lack of opportunities and things that we claim in Africa, which I don't see no lack of. I just, we have everything there. The thing that's always missing is, like we always talk about Black corporative economics.
Yeah, which we call it. The bottom line, Africa has everything we need to build. You have a young population, right? You have inexpensive labor. You have natural resources. You got rivers. And now it has the biggest thing. Bomani, right? Africa has never been hit with natural disasters. I look at Sierra Leone had one a couple of years ago, a landslide. But for the most part, Africa is not hit with earthquakes. It's not hit with hurricanes. They don't have to keep sell themselves in debt to the Brazilians of dollars because they got to keep rebuilding like Japan does. Japan has an earthquake every freaking year, and they rebuild. In 2 weeks, the highway that was falling apart and the building on it is cleaned up and is back on operation 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, earthquake hits again, and guess what? They do it all. They're ready to do it. That's what it means by running your own infrastructure. When Japan had the tsunami, there wasn't no freaking those Japanese construction companies out there knew what to do. Cleaned up the whole city of Yokohama Bay, and basically, next thing you know, a few months later, it was like it never happened. We as Black people, if there was a natural disaster to help Africa, right, everybody would come in and say, okay, we'll help you, but we're going to take this section of the country as our prepayment. And we as a Black man who think we're so big and bad on the planet, right? How are you going to let these little Asians and Europeans and Arab punk you? Why are you up in Europe, of all places, to get a degree? I had this one lady talking about Liberian lady talking about she wants to go back to Liberia because she married some Indian bum. It didn't work out. I think her husband died. I don't know, whatever. But she said she's stranded in India. You got African women stranded in Oman. What kind of better life do you go to these third world countries like you are and everything? How bad are we when you got not that in Africa, I know some nigga, well, they come to Africa, but they come to Africa organized. They come to Africa with capital and to take over. They're not coming to Africa needing subsistence or living in mediocrity. They're not coming over there because you got to give them a degree. They already know all that stuff before they got there. So the question is infrastructure. Now, when people say we will build in Africa, right? Unfortunately, right now is you can't tell me let's go to Africa and rely on the current infrastructure when Africans can't rely on the current infrastructure. So the question tonight is, should we or we must build our own infrastructure if we're going to live on the continent? That's vital. It's essential. We should have our own paramedics. We should have our own everything, our own fire department, our own police department, our own district court. Somebody had made the question on Negropeans channel, right? They said, well, the reason why they want to have their own communities is because when they're criminal, first of all, we're not going to have criminals over there, so they answer that part, right? They can hide in the crowd, right? And like, no, we're not. We don't plan on getting that, but because we're going to have police that have arrest power, right? That patrol, stuff like that. Where's your ID? Let me show us ID. We're gonna have a police. That's part of the infrastructure, security. That's one of the vital parts of the infrastructure, security. Enforcing the rule of law. So therefore, when someone tells you that you don't need all that in Africa, you are sadly mistaken. One of the reasons why people leave Africa is because lack of infrastructure. They have the capability, but nobody maintains it. Now, when we talk about infrastructure, there's 5 core elements of infrastructure and logistics, right? It's an acronym called EPCOM, okay? EPCOM is E, engineering. P, procurement. That's your supply chain. O, operations. There's a P. C, construction. That's your building. Your networks of buildings, your construction. O, operations. That's the day-to-day operations of everything like that. And the last part is maintenance. That means scheduled maintenance and upkeep of everything you do. You don't just build a bridge, right? Well, there's maintenance schedules. At this point in time, you got to change this. This has to be resurfaced. This has to be upgraded, everything. Or if you don't obey that, right, you drive across a bridge and one day it just collapses. In first world countries, they take EPCOM very seriously. That's why a bridge stands for 30 years, unless some natural disaster comes and knocks it down. In many countries in Africa, right, bridges collapse. Why? Because people weren't maintenance and upkeeping it. They didn't have proper engineering. They didn't have the right supply chains of stuff already to replace the parts to keep that bridge up and running and everything. That's your procurement. So we have to do all that. We have to have our own procurement system on the continent. That means our own warehousing. Operations is your warehousing and logistics and stuff like that. We have to have all that. We need our own warehousing, our own logistics, our own transport. All that stuff is essential. And then if you have a settlement and Africa stands satellite. So we have to have satellites, right? These communities we're building are satellites, right? Smart city satellites, right? They're internet connected globally with all the stuff like by computer, internet, and everything now can connect multiple territories in one big conglomerate. Imagine having communities that we build in Kenya, in Ghana, Liberia, all throughout Africa, all interconnected, all on the same page, under the same charter, and have standards. And also what we're going to talk about tonight is this. Now, there's a lot of people that talk about building in Africa, but do they qualify for African standards? That's what we're going to set. Bomani and I are going to set. There's going to be a standard of African standard. What is an African? It's a Black African state infrastructure, right? So therefore, what is Black African infrastructure? It's manned by who? Black African what? People, right? That means in African, right? Right now, let me tell you something. If you're building a community and everything, we understand you're not at African level. You might have Arab partners, what European partners. We understand that. Go ahead and build it. We're not going to discourage you, right? But to get the African stamp and seal of approval, right? It has to be built, engineered, procured, the procurement line. It has to be maintained and have to be operated by Black African people, EPCOM. So we have EPCOM for boys and girls, EPCOM. Each part of those things are manned by Black African people. The engineering, the procurement, that's your supply chain, how you get all the materials, right? The operations, right? That's the warehousing, storage, the human capital, and everything like that. And then there's construction and there's maintenance, right? All that is done by us. Now, when it's at 100%, 97 to 100%, you are part of the African. You are real. Your community is African. We know you might not get there just yet, but that's what the benchmarks we strive for, and we don't compromise on that, because right now people say, "Well, you think about Akon? Akon doesn't have a chance with us. His partners and who people building his thing is Chinese. His partners and people financing the operation, everything are not us. So Akon could never be considered an African. Akon said he could never become an African. Not saying you don't go there, but it does not meet. See, we're the vanguards. We're carrying the legacy of Marcus Garvey on our hand. Right. What would Marcus Garvey say? The African is what Garvey wanted, what our revolutionary ancestors wanted. So basically, if you do shortcuts, hey, fine and everything, but you cannot be included into the African portion of this. Because why? Because it's not a black state. It's not black African infrastructure. Black African infrastructure means it's all controlled and owned by us.
Beautiful.
So that's what I'm talking about. That's what we said. We created the term the African. We mean the ultimate black state, top to bottom, in and out. Doesn't mean anybody else can't be there. We're gonna have people around the world, but the functioning of the state, the purpose of the state, is for black people. You can't exclude people from coming out. I get that, people are gonna come, but you understand when who's in authority, who's running stuff, who benefits from the society the most are us. You can't come in there and partner with Chinese and whatnot and talk about the Chinese going to build something, right? You're going to and then also he has a white American company who's doing the infrastructure building. That kind of building. I'm saying that doesn't qualify for African. He has white developers, Indian developers, and all these other people building his Akon city.
Yeah, that's real talk, brother. Real talk, and appreciate you just breaking it all down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch over to our website. And as you see the view right there, the pictures are going to be rolling, but what we're going to be doing is playing the audio, and the audio is going to be talking about, this is one of my favorite short excerpts of Malcolm X. I uploaded this to our website, and it's titled Blacks in Africa by Malcolm X. And family, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to show you where all of our information is. Right there on that same website, africafortheafricans.org, when we talk about building Black diaspora communities, when you just click on the link, Black Star Repatriation and Pan-African Community. Our corporate name is called Black Star Pan-African Community. You can't fit all that on a corporate paperwork. But the repatriation part is very important. So it works hand in hand, repatriation and Pan-Africanism. And when we talk about Pan-Africanism, we talk about all of us, all of our dedicated brothers and sisters around the globe. Because we as a people are everywhere on this planet. So I'm always reaching out to people, and I'm always looking to connect with the best of us so we can do this together, because that's what it takes. You're not going to compete with the likes of the Chinese, the Indians, and the Lebanese in Africa. They've been there for generations. They've been there longer than us from the diaspora that are going back. It's weird and strange,
and we have to be organized. We have to be organized, We all have our different philosophies and everything, but we have to be on the same page, That's the only way we're going to do it, because the Lebanese and Chinese will clean our clocks. They're backed up by their governments. We only have us. We have nobody backing us right now.
Absolutely, and that's what I was telling people even when Barack Obama was in presidency for 8 years, and you're telling people, because people that you met in different parts of Africa, they're thinking that just because we have someone with a complexion similar to me and you don't mean anything, because it's like these people put them in place, and it's and the way America works, they're strategic with their game plan, so it was just that time to put someone that looks like us, that doesn't represent us and doesn't have our back, but just to confuse the world and things like that. So family, the focus is got to be on realistically what we're building. So when we're talking about the Black African infrastructure, we're talking about building our community. I'm being real with you, family. Once you click on the link and read through the information, half of the people who read through the information is not going to want to join us. And I'm fine with that, because we have to have some level of standards and we have to maintain order.
Exactly.
and I'm not just a business person or all these other things, or a cultural person. I'm also a military person that is organized in the mindset of strategy and tactics. And so even when you're looking at military warfare and how they operate, you can use that in the form of just how you build your business and organize. So what we have done is lay things out in front of you, and we're going to put energy together to where we can work together as a community. Because the biggest issue that I have right now in Africa is basically so many of my own brothers and sisters from the African diaspora that have gone to Africa and are struggling currently. And I'm talking about 9 out of 10 people. And those are accurate research, because I've been traveling the continent for a long time, and I've done this as a part of the research, especially from 2006. And what I'm saying to people is, family, a lot of us, I remember having people have this conversation with me saying literally that they don't want to be a part of this community. They want to live with the people. And I was like, what kind of foolishness you're saying? It's like, we are living with the people. We have a community land. Some of the members in our community are from different parts of Africa, and it's what it is. It just gives you an organized move so you can put your resources together and look out for each other and be successful. Why am I not living in Africa? Because people make these comments about me and you, Kyle, about why we're not living in Africa. And I'll give people a straight up answer to that. When you're going back and forth and you're putting the work in and building things, you want to build what you need to build. That way, when you're ready to make a move over, you have something on the continent. Like when we're ready to make the move, we have our community, we have our business center where we can run all business to the highest level. Every single business that I run here can be run there. And then at the same time, too, we have young students, 13 to 19, that are learning everything that we're teaching, from the children that we're bringing over to the children that we are, we're creating or building, and the children that we have right there in the community and right there in the African continent. So this is a move to where it benefits us if we're organized. So it's based on information. And what I'm telling you, family, think about this situation. If you and your wife just go to different parts of Africa and you're there for 3-4 years, and then you're trying to build a business that you've never built before, how long you think that business is going to last, and how long you think it's these things don't work like that. And so this is why I'm explaining to you, family, that the community is the most vital thing. And that's why we're reaching out to other members of the diaspora in Ghana and saying, hey, family, instead of struggling on your own and then just doing the rental situation, come to Black Star Pan-African community, get a plot of land, and build your house. And we don't play around. We get paperwork and things done quick. Things do take a long time in Ghana, but once you're working with a dedicated group of people, like I've been working with the chief, the surveyor, our consultant, and our attorney for the last 2.5 years to do this, and we have become like this straight up family. And I'm the only person that's not from Ghana in that whole connection and things like that. But at the same time too, we need some of our people from the diaspora to step their game up and build this. This is no joke. You can only do certain business for a while. You have to work your way up in society. And right now we're at a point where we need to build these communities. We need to organize our Black African infrastructure groups. So, we have tons of engineers and people can do many things, but without proper organization, they're not going to be effective. So that's what we're doing and laying down the foundation. So we have led this situation, family, from starting with tours and working our way up, from me doing a business conference and tour in Ghana in 2006 and learning how to do this. So this is not something that I picked up yesterday or 2 years ago and say we're going to do this. It's a lot of work that goes into it, and a lot of strategy and a lot of organization. This office represents the highest level of business administration and technical administration, and that's what I use to run the operation. So it's serious. Instead of dedicating my life on the plantation, which there's nothing wrong with having employment and a job. Job is a good thing, as long as you use that money to invest back in Blacks and things like that. And that's how we can all build business. So family, let me play the speech for you, Malcolm X. And as you see on the site right there, you see those links, you click on them, all details. And here we go.
In our own land, we can establish our own agricultural system. We can farm. We can grow food to feed our own people. We can raise cattle. We can use the hide, the leather, the wool to make clothing for our own people. We can dig the clay from the earth and bake it into bricks and build houses and homes for our people. We can chop down trees and turn it into lumber and build furniture to furnish homes for our people. When I was in Africa, I saw Africans making their own furniture. I mean modern furniture, up-to-date furniture, sharp furniture. They over there making their own. You over here begging Goldberg for his. $1 down and $1 when I catch you. And Goldberg always catches you. If Goldberg can't catch you, Goldstein will catch you. And if Goldstein don't catch you, Greenberg will catch you. $1 down and $1 later, and later is always now. When we have our own land, we can dig the natural resources from the earth. Land is the basis of all economic security. Land is essential to freedom, justice, and equality. Land is essential to true independence. Africans aren't asking for integration, they're asking for land.
Growing struggle. That is the rule and protect of I.
Yes, and some budget. Let me just cut it right there. Yes, my brother Kala.
He said land.
To say about this right here, the 90-second excerpt from Malcolm X.
Yeah, that was in his last speeches, his last speeches, his last speech. That book, I urge anybody to get that book. The yellow back copy book that says Malcolm X, his last speeches. That was in his last speeches, He said land. You got to have land. So put it into me right now. It said land's the basis of all freedom, right? And when it, not just land, but land that's sovereign, land that's autonomous. We have to, when we have land, right, we have to have autonomy. We have to fight for our autonomy as much as possible, right? We can't just have nobody coming out of the woodwork talking about, this is my land 20,000 years ago. I want it back. Y'all got to start paying me. We can't have that. So we have to be in force. And when you go there alone, you're not in a group. See, like I said, what part of, I don't understand something. What is it when it comes to Africa? When it comes to Africa, when it comes to Africa, hold on.
Yeah, I know you're gonna drop it on them.
Yeah, when it comes to Africa and like that, we don't want nothing collective, right? We just think, oh, I'm in Africa. No, it don't work like that. You come, you got to be around like-minded people. You got people who are Muslim. They're gonna congregate with people who are Muslim. You got Christians gonna congregate with Christians. People are atheists. People always congregate with people like mine. If you have a Pan-Africanist mind, that you want to congregate with people with a Pan-Africanist mind. A lot of our brothers in Africa don't have a Pan-Africanist mind. When you say you're a Pan-Africanist, you're a black nationalist Pan-Africanist, you're on the same page. So that's the basis of you building something with somebody of like mind. Now, it doesn't mean we're excluding our brothers and sisters from Africa, but saying if you don't have our mindset, you don't believe in our core values, every community has a core values. What do you value? What do you think? They have a common heritage, common thing. Or, okay, so somebody's going to marry into our community. You got to just come in. You can't just come in and bum rush us, You got to either marry into us or assimilate into us and everything like that. Well, what about assimilating into the dominant society? I heard that argument before. Okay. People assimilate from a position of strength. Let me break this down to you. The Italians didn't just get off the boat in America and just assimilate. It took them a couple of generations of knowing the American ways. You remember the movie The Godfather when he said to Michael, he said, "Oh, you with that American girls, right?" Talking about Kate.
Yeah,
right?
remember.
He goes, "You're with that American girl." And why did he call her an American girl and not Michael? Michael served in the military. Why was he an American? Because he was an Italian. His father was born in Sicily. And remember Sonny said to him in The Godfather Part 2, he said, "Man, you're a sap. You fight for somebody else. Family's government's not blood."
Yes, I remember that.
The average Italian don't think like that now. Why? Because a couple of generations they became Americanized.
Exactly.
So whatever, they still got those old Italian American communities in America that they go back to. They still have ties with Italy. I grew up with a lot of Italians. They go to Sicily for the summer. They go to Italy. They go to Naples, whatever part of Italy the ancestors come from. So I had that experience. I grew up with a lot of white immigrants, so I know what I'm talking about. I have friends that were Polish. They go back to Poland, You know, a lot of Irish. I don't have to tell you about that. Sky Irish, they always going back to Ireland and celebrating their Sky Irish roots. The only people that has no connection with their motherland outside of America is the African American. When my white friends used to tell me, so where's your ancestors? Oh, he's going to North Carolina for the summer. North Carolina ain't my goddamn roots. I knew there was something wrong back then. I said, is that it? North Carolina? Inside the borders of America, they're telling me about all these exotic places. I had a Jewish friend that used to go to Tel Aviv for the summer, showing pictures of them on the beach with a Jewish thing, doing the Jewish stuff and everything, you know? I said, I would love an escape like that, to go among my people and everything like that. This is what we're trying to set up. We'll have our own shrines to our ancestors, stuff like that, because those are our ancestors that were taken from Africa. So a lot of Africans don't care about that. So we got to make the shrine that everybody, that people make a pilgrimage to. It can't be all the Cape Coast and the dungeons. We're gonna make our own monuments and shrines to things like the South Koreans did. We're gonna make our own Holocaust museums in Africa that we manage and stuff like that. That we tell the story of our ancestors. So the bottom line is just a simple part of you're going to your motherland and you're basically you're whole. And it's vital that we build these communities over there. Because these communities one day are going to be assimilated into the African society fully, but that's going to take a lifetime. You know, that's going to take socialization process. The socialization process. You always start with culture. Culture begins the why, the what, who, where, who. Once you decide that we, and you become a we, right? And you have a culture. Right now, building these communities over here will create a culture. 5 years. People living on that land right there will have, okay, we do this every Saturday. We do this. You create a culture. You know, pretty soon they're going to be, you're going to be culturally estranged from the African Americans. You're going to look, your kids on the land going to look like, oh yeah, they're coming over here. These are newcomers. They don't understand our way. You're going to create your own way. That's what culture, that's what socialization is all about. And once you create your own way, then economics come in play. This is how we do. We got this guy over here. You connect with each other. He's a barber. He's a painter. He's a plumber. He's an electrician. He's this, everything. But we're all part of our kinship unites us under one community. You know, this guy's a big boss of this factory over here. His kids go here. This is our university. These are educated class, our educators and everything. So you're all one community. And so we're looking at each other and watching each other's backs. And gradually, you become assimilated into the land that you adopted. That's what repatriation is all about. It's not an overnight thing. You can't just jump on a plane. I'm in Africa, you know, and then like about a year later, on YouTube, we left. You know, if they would have talked to me, I would have told them. And I tried to talk to some of these people. I said, you sure you know what you're doing? Don't tell me, Colin. A year later, they're back in the States, broke, because they didn't want to listen. We have to build our own communities, right? As a support system. So you don't want to, after 2 years, when I say I got to go back to America, no, you're going to have a support system that's going to help you if you fall short and everything. We'll have our own commissary if people fall short on food and stuff like that. Our own commissary, you know, stuff like that, that we collect donations or whoever will help us out, you know, for people in need. But we encourage people to be to add skills and be able to use your skills to create build a life for yourself. But if you fall short, you know, we could help you out here. You know, that's what it is.
Yes, Kala. Yes, Kala. That is the business, brother. And family, this is what we're talking about. Building diaspora communities. Some people out there have issues with that. And it's been a long time since we've been talking about. As a matter of fact, the whole time I've been in Ghana, we've been talking about this because I started working with a group in 2006 called Fiancra, and I'm always bringing our big bus load up to that, you know, their community land and to other community land, because the mindset is community, and you know, and so when you can't find the right community, what do? You build it. And I'm going to go back to Garvey quote that we have as you know, the thumbnail: take advantage of every opportunity. Where there is none, make it for yourself. So that's where I can come in. I'm from Jamaica. We love opportunities. Since I've been here since 1988, I feel like I've taken advantage of the opportunities, especially on the education side and the working side. And what I'm telling people, you have great resources in America. Let's not give our money back to the system and put ourselves in what we call modern day slavery. Let's become investors. Take that money and invest some of it. If you really believe in America, like some people believe, and they're not going to Africa, that's fine. Do something here for our brothers and sisters. Wherever you are as a Black person, represent. But I can't dismiss the fact that this is the most important thing that we can do, which is go to Africa, travel, live, and do business and build those relationships. And I'm being honest with people, and some people may not like what I'm about to say, but the future of Africa depends on how well the Africans on the continent and Africans in the diaspora come together, work together, and build things together. And that's why I spend all of this money, all this time, all this energy, along with the big groups of people from the diaspora, the 500 plus people that have traveled me in the last 15 years. And we have made it a point to where when we go to the continent, do you know what we do, brother? We make sure if we go into a hotel, it's Black-owned hotel. We make sure if we go into a restaurant, it's Black-owned restaurant. Now, have I been to restaurants and hotels that are not Black-owned in Africa? Yes. But if you calculate the situation, 95% of what we spend in Africa is with our own people. And the thing of it is, I'm telling people, you can literally go to Africa and literally participate in nothing dealing with Black people, because you do have the corporations there for hotels and the corporations there for restaurants and things like that. And then, so family, what we're talking about is about us and no one else. We're about us and building us. That's why we have the Africa for the Africans. And that's why we talk about Marcus Garvey. And that's why I love my brother, Tony Martin, he, representing race first, so, and that's one of our issues. When we think about all the other people, just like, people are showing clips on Ukraine and they're showing that they're trying to prioritize their white citizens to handle their business and get to where they need to get to. So when I hear people complain about this, I'm like, what do you expect white people to do? They always been like that. They're going to prioritize their people and everything. When I worked on a plantation at the airlines, and I was like this young, ambitious guy that's fresh out the military. And then, I had to, my brothers had to pull me to the side and educate me about racism and white supremacy, which I'm being honest with you, I did not know until I got here in Georgia. And I was educated by my brothers and sisters here. And I joined Black organization here, and I was in my early 20s. But before that, I'm telling you, family, I knew nothing about this world and this life. And I realized that someone has to hold the line, and we need younger people in that time to commit. So at 26 years old, I committed my life to death do us apart type situation, to a movement based on the fact that, Marcus Garvey is a Jamaican man that with great ambitions and wanted to come out to the world and connect his own brothers and sisters wherever, and was bold about it, and dealt with the pushbacks from his own folks in Jamaica and his own brothers and sisters, and same thing in America. And so, family, what we have seen is that we have these crabs in the barrel. And when we're talking about situations like that, just because they may have like a white wife and things like that, like people come at me the wrong way about this. They're like, can I bring my white wife to a trip? Can me and my white wife live in your community? I was like, are you okay? I was like, did you not read the information? Do you not see the big Black Africa for the Africans? Do you not see, in what we write in our community page, that we're only looking for a Pan-African family type people? Because what we're looking to do, I want my beautiful young girls, when they grow up to be 20, 21, I want them to have a real strong Black man to marry, and we want to keep that together. I want our sisters talking about, I'm thinking about swirling, like, it's
divestment. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, right? Another girl got killed, found dead, right? They said natural with a white guy, right? And they basically running into the defense. If you want to play it, let's see if I can find a video. I'll send it to you. You'll play it.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, send it to me and WhatsApp, and I'll load it up and we'll play it and discuss that, because we're discussing things in reference to why. Because the major question on anything is always the why, and the why is
we think they're gonna. Okay, here it is, right? Okay, that about that one Lauren Smith, right?
Oh no,
that one that happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut. 2 months ago.
No.
Okay, that one right there.
Load the clip and talk about it.
I'm gonna send you this one first, right? I'm gonna send you this one first. Bomani, you said you want me to send it to you to text or WhatsApp?
I'll shoot it on WhatsApp and I'll load it up on the screen.
All right. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's see.
We have to talk about,
The police didn't arrest this guy. Police didn't arrest this guy. All right.
and this is why you and I are talking about having our own municipality where all of the people that's a part of that town, that community, that
we
city,
have police.
It's their interest is Black Power, nation building, and to protect our people. Truly,
and we have laws, and we have law, and it's written into law. All right. I sent you the video. On that.
All right, cool, perfect. It's loading. Make sure you get the volume off until it's loaded properly. And how much of this do you want me to play?
It's only 5 minutes. Play the whole thing, because the whole thing is with that is that's going to segue into what I'm talking about. That happened like 2 months ago, and all the swirlers, the investors and black men started saying it's our fault that she had to go out there. She was on Bumble, right? Probably prostituting, whatever. And her family is like, the police are saying, well, he's a nice guy, that's why we didn't arrest him, whatnot. And they're blaming it on black men in America because she had a low self-esteem, whatnot. She looked good too. Ain't no black man gonna turn her down, but she wanted those white guys, Yeah, so play that.
It's a beautiful sister, beautiful sister right there. And I would date her, but I mean, sometimes when some of your sisters are not just looking at some of us like that, and the thing of it, but it's I guess I have to listen to the video, but it's definitely sad to hear that, and I'm just recommending our sisters that if you see that it's a lack of hair, remember we have a beautiful.
It's not even it's not even. Oh wow! I have another one. Swirler found dead in lake. A white husband.
But what I'm saying to people is like, I'm giving them flexible options. It's like we have an African continent,
right? I'm scrolling down, man. There's more than I thought. Here's another one. White swirler found dead in the lake. White husbands look suspicious. A pregnant homeless swirler was found dead in a suitcase, and her white ex is right. Another one. Down with the swirl. Here's a real deal about black women swirling. Black women are going to our work. These white guys are trolling these websites, right? Hearing all this anti-black male stuff. The problem is this. This is what I said, right? And I was meditating on this a couple of weeks ago, Bomani, right? And I said to myself, and I said this on my radio show, right? I said, look, a lot of sisters, right? What they want is they want what Beyonce has. They can't have that, right? Now, if you're a big girl, right? And you're a big girl, you got to get with Leroy at Burger King. He's going to love you to death and everything. He's going to love you to death. But you want Trey Songz. If you can't have Trey Songz, right? If you can't do that, you say you want to throw all black men because all black men checking you out. All black men are nothing. No, this black man checking you out, but you don't want the men that's checking you out. You want that guy. You see, I should have that man. Well, that woman over here, she kept herself good and she's cute. Let's be honest. First of all, life is not fair. Some women are very beautiful. They're gonna get any man they want to. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. You rarely hear real pretty girls talking about swirling. I have yet to hear real pretty black women talk about a swirling with a white guy because they can get any black man with a snap of the finger. They know every black man treats them like a queen. Oh wow, she's beautiful. It's the women that in our community we have to. Black men got to work on that, But I say like this: a woman shit me. I'm like this: a woman got a nice figure. I'm always about the body, Girl got to have a nice body, flat stomach, So she's in the gym, her body's kicking. That girl's beautiful no matter what her complexion is, whatever, hair length, whatever like that. I don't care. Like, as long as that body's, I'm like, yeah, that's the way I am. I'm all about the body, And so the whole thing is. A lot of women, black women, look, I said, you got to get in the gym, They said like 60%, 70% of black women are obese, and they like these women up there. The white man ain't going to love you like that. But he a white man. Look, bottom line, I remember one time I was at an event, right? At this medical establishment, right? And it was a late night event. It was Christmas time, right? So we was giving out Christmas gifts and Christmas party and everything. And had a whole bunch of old senior citizen black women there, right? And the TV show Scandal was on, right? And so I was like disheartening by hearing these old ass women talking about, I'm gonna get me sitting there eating popcorn. I'm gonna get me a fine young white man. I'm like, are these women crazy? You old, you're in your 70s, you're overweight, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of you basically are in poor health. And you sitting there, yes, that's what I want. Insanity. Go down to the bingo hall and get Joseph that been giving you the eye for a few months. Nobody wants to get in that place. And we got women that are entitled, they're delusional. And the bottom line, you got these white guys watching. Don't think that I'm telling you, right, I'm going to prove this, right? White people are on all these chat rooms, white racist people, right? And people think the stereotype of racist is, I don't keep away from me, black people. I don't want nothing to do with black people. Okay. Social media has shown that that's not the case. White people troll black websites. They come into our communities right now. I wouldn't be surprised that some of the people in the Africans are white trolls. They can't stay away from us. They cannot stay away from us. They come in, right? And all of the friction between Africans and African Americans are white people. They're behind all that shit. They come in and assault, pretending to be African, assault African Americans. They'll be coming in and pretend to be black women, assaulting black men. I wouldn't date another black man and whatnot, you know. So you guys, we're going at each other and whatnot, and these guys are selling those wolf tickets. And we black men and black women are going at each other. Africans and Africans going at, as white people are behind the scene doing this shit. Why? Because they can. I should have known years ago, man, that they weren't going to leave us alone. I thought we have our own social media, our own space and everything. They have their own space. No, that's not enough for them. They're not going to leave us alone. Even when we go to Africa, you think that's going to be it? No. What you think you're escaping America is waiting for you in Africa. That's why we have to fight. That's why we have to build our communities. Should I repeat that again? What you thinking just going to Africa. No. That's why you're failing in Africa. Because what you think you're escaping for is waiting for you. That's why we have to be on the continent in force. That's why we got to watch each other's backs. So we have our security. We have our investigative service. We have to have our intelligence services. All this stuff is Mr. Touchable, please sit down. Matter of fact, sit down on top of your head, Sit down on top of your head, and let the blood drain down for a little while, okay? So anyway, the bottom line is this. We have to be enforced. You think it's just going to Africa? No, we got to be watching our back. We have to watch everybody. We have to have a centralized intelligence. We have our own CIA, basically. That's what the African is all about. Everything that goes on the continent, we're going to be in communication with each other. We're going to have intelligence. So whether what country you're part of this overall system. And the ultimate goal is to have this super state, this one Pan-African super state. But we got to build our satellite communities first. This is why this is the first step, is getting these communities up and running. Build our own satellite communities all across the continent. Then one day we are going to carve out a state that's going to connect the whole black diaspora in the African world under one centralized government. That's the African, That's the African. So we need your help. We need people to get on board, man. That's why I'm joining forces with my brother Bomani Tyehimba.
Yeah, you and I have been rolling together for a long time.
Man.
And it's like a lot of us remember that first time we did that. We did a few shows, me, you, Jonathan, and a few people.
Yeah, on Blog Talk.
I'm telling people, we've been building a foundation. While some of these folks who just came out the woodworks, and they just like, okay, wow, YouTube is available. I can throw my Cash App up. I can get donations. I can go target other folks and and do like the rapper stuff, where you're a corny rapper and no one is feeling you, so you just go after the best rappers. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. But yes, family, this is one of those things where we're dead serious, and whoever doesn't like it, it's what it is. But when we build these communities in Africa, we think we're going to try to take over our own people. It's only for the purpose of us coming together stronger. If we have a community in Ghana and you have a community in Liberia, we can work together to do business and basically strengthen the nations that we're operating from. And it's that simple. It's not a trick. It's not a game. It's nothing. We're not colonizers and things like people call it all kind of names. And I just laugh because it's so funny. It's easy to sit there and run your mouth on YouTube, but before YouTube came, like people would like run their mouth in a different way. Like I remember when we were talking about building communities in Africa and going to Africa and we were studying and reading books. People just always had something to say. But think of it, family, I love it because when people are talking about you, that means you're doing something good. When people, because one thing I'm gonna tell anyone out there on YouTube, there's nothing you can prove of what we're doing that is bad and destructive to our people. And if you feel that way, you build something strong. You know what I mean? But what I see is it's kind of like you're in a meeting with your group, and then we're having a group conversation, and then you have disgruntled members that don't have anything positive to say. You
Right.
solutions and things like that, and then you're trying to get them. You tell them either you come with solutions or stay away and don't bring any drama. Like the famous saying go, if you don't have nothing to say, positive or good, just lay low and just stay out our way.
Yeah, people nowadays, man. Everybody got an opinion, man. People are just basically like this. Well, like we always say, and I was cracking Diners when I said, well, what I think is, I'm like, shut up. Who cares what you think? Ain't got no contribution to the cause, ain't got no skill set, no nothing. Well, I think, who cares what you think? Why don't you contribute? What do you got to contribute to this? It's not just about money, it's about time, about effort. When you contributing, you're building, then you got something to say. We can't have everybody running their mouth, just blah, 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 blah. We want people that contribute and constructive criticism.
Absolutely. We're looking for players. It's kind of like we're running a game tournament. You need players, and you're gonna have those spectators on the side running their mouth and this, saying, I would have done better than that. I would have hit that 3-point shot. I would have scored that goal.
Yeah,
and that's fine until you get into the game, and then when you get into the game, you realize it's not that simple.
Everybody's sitting on the side taking pot shots, or
they're on the side saying that they can do better. I'm telling people, family, we came out here and showed everyone our lives and show everybody what we're doing. Even when we're doing those early, like you talk about Blog Talk and many of those radio shows and things like that.
We were building
literally. And then what we was doing is like a lot of us were networking together, and that's where it starts. Even like I tell people, I come from a culture of study group. My brothers, linked me to where they weren't playing around. It was just all about the books and all about the study, and I appreciate them because I was able to evolve from that, even though they weren't more so the practical person that I am to go out there and just do the rest of the move. But sometimes you have to just educate your young generation. And that's what I looked at when my elder brothers reached out to me and connected me and brought me into the Pan-African Black Power conscious movement, from 2003 to 2004, which is my foundation years, my coming out years of this being someone that's just wanted to say, hey, we're going to hold the line. We're going to take this to another level. And I understand what happened 100 years ago or 50 years ago, 60 or 20 years ago, whichever ancestors you want to connect to that was doing incredible movements. They were hijacked or sabotaged and things like that. And I tell people that we're coming with a different flavor and a different style. We come on with, backed by that, like in Ghana, I'm a force to be reckoned with. We have a complete, incredible setup. I even got hungry attorneys that literally just love to eat American $100 bills. And they just love to just handle business and take care of stuff. They just, because they're there, like they understand the situation. It's like a military setup that people are going to come and attack you or come at you the wrong way and things like that. So that's why we have to think ahead. Now, Garvey was in that day. It's not like we had the information, like 100 years later, we have all of this information on everything that happened to Malcolm, Garvey, Dr. Kim, and all the prominent other people that were a part of all of these Pan-African movements. We saw what happened to our great warrior, Kwame Nkrumah. I love Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was on himself in Africa in the 50s. Yeah. I want my diaspora to come and connect with us because he
was on a mission. He went to Vietnam trying to solve the problem with the North Vietnamese. Next thing you know, they said, you can't come back. They took his country from him. The United States took his country from him because he made the mistake of talking about nationalizing the bauxite industry, right? And then went out of the country. And when you're gonna do something like that, you gotta lock down the country, And he made the mistake of going to Vietnam on some mission, and he got overthrown. Because the bottom, that's how it is. The CIA is just waiting. Bottom line, the CIA is nothing. The bottom line, the CIA only counts if you believe in American exceptionalism, America's all that, then the CIA is a problem. But if you really believe in Pan-Africanism, everything is only us and by us and everything, The CIA can't do a thing, because bottom line is this: if somebody leaves, we're gonna start tracking people globally. You know, that's why the BIO network is so essential to me. If you're not in our network, social network, and pretty soon we're gonna have it so that we're gonna expand on that, man. Have a global database of everybody that's involved with us, right? We're gonna know where you're at, you know, who you're talking to. If you go over to Zurich, Switzerland, what you go over there for? Come back, you know, into this our community and whatnot, or you gotta disclose where you went. And we find out you didn't disclose where you went and whatnot, that's against the law. We're gonna have it so that that's a penalty. You know, you didn't disclose you met with such and such over there. That's how Gaddafi had it. Gaddafi had people, Libyans around the world, but he knew exactly where they were going and where they were coming. That's why CIA couldn't really approach those people like, because if they got one of the people got approached, right? That's how they do it. They find you in a bar or something like that. They study you and everything. How do you think Mobutu Sese Seko got into the Congo? He was up there in Belgium. They saw he was a womanizer and everything like that. He saw he was no damn good, right?
Right.
And they approached him. They tapped him on the shoulder.
Yo, he's the perfect person for them. That was a perfect setup. They found the right person.
They find right, and they scoped it. They don't just find. They everywhere in Africa, CIA profiling people, interviewing. That's what they did with Samuel Doe in Liberia. You know, he was a CIA recruit. By the time it's too late, he's now the president. When you were drugged. To be honest with you, Idi Amin was that, but Idi Amin stabbed him in the back. Idi Amin said, "Yeah, Milton Bolton was good." Amin had no reason to throw out a Bolton. That was his good friend, Milton Bolton. You know, and next thing, but Bolton said that he was going to be socialist, he's going to nationalize stuff like that. He was on a vacation. Guess what? Idi Amin took over. You know, it's all that game played in Africa. That's why we have to be on the same page. That's why we have to have a hierarchy. You know, we have to be like that. You know, it's basically, that's what it is, you know. Yes, Sam Doe was CIA. I thought that was common sense, Mr. Untouchable. Have you been studying the college Genesis?
Don't be hard, brother. Brother trying to show you love, man.
I know. But Mr. Untouchable, man, sometimes it gets under my skin, man. You know, sometimes, you know.
That's Kala family. That's, you know, it means in all love. But Kala, what I want to do, brother, is I want to play that video that we have loaded up and ready to go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's see this. Another one just happened 2 days ago. Another one.
Let me open this big so we can watch it.
Yeah, go ahead. Open.
You know, while people can see us still. All right, so I got it as large as the screen. That looks a lot better. Perfect. So let me just play this and we just discuss what we are listening to.
Right.
Bumble, and by morning she was dead.
I wish that she was still here.
Her family says police botched this investigation, ignored key evidence like a pill and a used condom allegedly found inside her apartment. And the Bumble date is still a free man. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. The mystery behind Lawrence Smith Field's death has now just intensified as the medical examiner's office out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, just coming out with a report saying that Lauren's death has been ruled an accident. The cause, acute intoxication of a mixture of drugs, promethazine, hydroxyzine, fentanyl, and alcohol. But how could that be when Lauren's family says she has no history of drugs? They say that there's more to the story. Police from the beginning have not been doing their jobs, and it may be because they're Black.
My heart and my soul is broken.
Chantel Fields says she knew something was off. Her daughter, Lauren Smith Fields, wasn't answering her phone, so she called Lauren's older brother, Lakeem Jeter, and met him at Lauren's house.
I went to the door. And on the door, it had a handwritten note saying, if you're looking for Lauren, call this number.
The note wasn't from police, but from Lauren's landlord.
And I just kept asking, like, what's going on? Where's my sister at? Like, what's going on? They just kept saying, hold on, the detective is coming.
Bridgeport detective Kevin Cronin showed up.
We were asking where was Lauren, and he said, listen, we already did an autopsy, and we didn't need to contact the family because we already identified the body because they had her passport and her ID.
Lauren had been dead for over 24 hours, and her family had no clue. Her body already en route to the medical examiner's office.
They just wanted to bury our daughter like she was like an unknown person.
We're getting a glimpse of what police walked into the day that Lauren was found. According to this police report, around 9:30 the night before her death, she was with this man named Matthew LaFountain. He told police in a statement that he met Lauren on Bumble 3 days earlier. He said, quote, they began drinking shots of tequila and Lauren became ill. She then went to the bathroom to vomit and was apologetic when she returned. He says that he then played some games with her, ate food, and started to watch a movie. He then says Lauren went outside, came back in, then went to the bathroom again for about 10 to 15 minutes. He says Lauren fell asleep on the couch. He carried her to the bed and laid down next to her and fell asleep. At 3 a.m., he says he went to the bathroom, heard her snoring. Then by 6:30 that morning, he says he noticed that there was blood coming from Lauren's right nostril and she wasn't breathing at all. That's when he called 911. Lauren Smith Fields was pronounced dead 19 minutes later.
When you have a young lady who's reported dead by a gentleman in a quote unquote dating relationship, that person is immediately a suspect.
Matthew LaFountain has not been named a suspect, but his social media accounts have been deactivated. Even more of a red flag for the family, Detective Cronin told them that he was a, quote, nice guy for calling 911 in the first place. Lauren's family attorney, Darnell Crosland, outraged.
We're now prosecuting them. I want to know who Cronin contacted that morning. We want to see his cell phone. And we believe that he either spoke to this gentleman, knows this gentleman, or there's some kind of connection there.
Something he's also looking into, a pill and a condom with semen inside that was found in the trash while Lauren's family was cleaning out her house.
2 weeks later, a bedsheet with blood, a pill, and a condom was left at the scene. Why was 2 weeks later the family had to beg them to do a CSI? Why? A Black family disregarded, not treated like Gabby or anybody else.
It's why her family spent what would have been her 24th birthday on Sunday marching to the Bridgeport Police Department, making sure we all don't forget Lauren Smith Fields' name.
She had a life. She had a business. She was in college. And she had a family and friends that love her. And no one is going to discard Lauren Smith Fields, my daughter, as she's rubbish. They're gonna answer everything, or people are gonna lose their jobs. I want that on his bag.
We just want justice for whatever happened that night, whatever happened to my sister. We want justice.
There's now a lawsuit in motion against the city of Bridgeport, claiming that police failed to not only investigate and collect physical evidence, but also they were racially insensitive towards this family. Now, the mayor of Bridgeport did come out with a statement saying, in part, quote, that there is no tolerance for anything less than respect and sensitivity for family members and their loss. To that end, this matter has been referred to the Office of Internal Affairs to conduct a full and fair investigation. The mayor, Joe Ganim, says that he also plans to update how police notify family members of a death. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter.
All right, just go ahead and unmute yourself, Carla, and I know you have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, this is happening more than you think it is, you know? You know, these white guys are preying on Black women's insecurity. We call them bottom shelf brads or basic brads, you know? And let me tell you something, right? I know white women, right? I know what type of white guys they are. These are the type of guys that white women stay away from. They're creepy. They're weird, they're dangerous and everything right here. And the difference between them and us, our women, is you cannot, I've seen cases where a white guy has a Corvette, Jag, whatever like that, and a white girl is like, no, you're a creep. Ew, you get away from me. Same white guy says, you know something, I can't get with them, right? But what does he do? He go to the Asian chicks. He go to the Black girl. It used to be, first of all, it wasn't Black. Black women didn't want anything. 10, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. You go out to a parlor. I remember one time I was dating this one girl, and this white guy put his hands on her one night. My friend was gonna beat his freaking ass, you know. And I said, "Yo, why you got?" She said, "Well, you know, he's my coworker." Blah blah blah. I said, "Look, man, I don't like that." We was at this thing where white stay with white, Black stay with Black. You know, black stay with Black, and that was the rule. It was very rare to see a Black woman with a Black guy. But over the last, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's the rap culture and everything. But now white guys feel like they can just come in even among Black people, right? and just basically scoop up black women. It wasn't like that. It was always white guys they always had their way with Asian women, right? And some Latinos, and the only women they never really get, and they still to this day can't get Indian women from India. That's still off limits, you know. A woman will be disowned if she gets with a white guy from India. So now, since they can't get any Indian women, white women are just basically doing their own thing, right? Latinos are more getting into their culture. Asians are getting boring. So now the biggest thing is this, and it's not because they love black women so much, right? That's not it. They're coming after black women just to spite us, right? And you got a lot of black women who date white men just for that freaking reason, just to spite us, right? And white men know that there's a gender war going on between black men and black women, and they step in as the white savior. They come in riding on a cape, riding on a horse, and everything like that, you know. But I never thought I would see it with black women. I always knew Asian women and other women and whatnot, you know, but I never thought black women, right? Because when I was growing up, white guys only attracted to certain types of black women, you know. They don't like those red bones. They say, oh, we like the red bones and stuff like that, you know, mixed race looking black women. Now they're going after African sisters. I was in which we call the other last week. I was in the post office, right? And I saw African. I knew she was African. I could tell by her facial features and everything, her full facial features and everything. And she was there with a basic Brad, you know. And I'm sitting there trying to hold my temper, or whatever, like that, like that. They kept looking at me, whatever, like that. He first of all, he wouldn't stand next to her because he knows I was sitting there watching, right? So he was sitting there like, wait, let her do her business, and whatnot. And then when they finally left, right, they started speaking, right, and then they walked out really quick. But whatever, I heard the accent. I heard the accent sound Nigerian, you know. And I'm saying to myself like this: these guys are now on social media, and they're in thing recruiting black women. You know, they're going after not just black women; they're going after African women now. There's dating sites now promoting African women with European men. They bring them to Europe, whatever like that. They end up dead or enslaved or whatever like that. So this is going on all over. These are the things we have to stop. You know, we have to stop. Now, we can't tell people who to love, but we got to tell them, like, look, we don't accept. It's not you. If you want to do that life or not, you can't come around us. That's not cool. You know, if you think you're gonna find a white man, well, then fine, that's fine. You go to London, whatever like that, and you be with him. You go to Australia and be with him. But don't come back here on vacation and think you're gonna hang around us and it's all gonna be good. No, it don't work like that. Now people say, Kala, you can't tell African women. Well, the bottom line is one thing I don't seem to understand, right? If they say colonial was just as bad as slavery, right? Why is it that Africans are so colorblinded? African American men know the danger in dating white women. I don't know too many black men who do that, you know. Some of them married, you know, I know them or not. Okay, y'all make a good couple and everything, you know. And like I said, so I seen
until it's called rape.
Yeah, then I seen a brother, right? His white woman is big, you know. Nobody wants her. White guys don't worry about that, you know. You know, and he's kind of big too. When I saw two bigs, they say two bigs don't make it right. They made a black. Okay, go right. But you're not gonna have no black guy with no blonde bombshell and like that. You bottom line, you are asking for trouble, and this happens all the time. Happens all the time. You are putting your life in danger, and it's not freaking worth it. You know, it's not freaking worth it. You know, and I don't see that happen too often anymore. It was happening for a while in the 2000s, but nowadays, and the way the world is polarized and everything, you don't see a lot of brothers going after white chicks no more. You know, it just don't happen. One, they're gonna get static from white people, and they're gonna get static from black people too. You know, and it don't fit. It just don't fit. You avoid it at all costs. You know, and the cost is, you know, if you do, you know, I know I had one guy in the BAO, right? I haven't heard from him in a long time. I know what it is. He's in college, right? He got with a white girl. I know that's what it is. You know, I know what it is. Like, oh yeah, like that. But I know what it is. He got with a white girl. You know, he asked me a question. I said, I just told him, man. That's what I told him, right? I said, man, you want to be part of this? You can't do that, right? And a few months later, he stopped talking to me. You know, and He stopped talking to me. You know, I said, yeah, man, if you're gonna do swirl, man, you can't be part of this, man. What I mean, this guy was on fire for the movement, you know, but
Wow.
he was on fire for it.
These are the rules, brother. If you're gonna join real Black Power operation, no swirlers are allowed in any of my operation.
And no homosexuals. And no homosexuals.
And no funny people. You know?
Yeah, no homosexuals, no weirdos, you know, no weirdos and shit. You know, homosexuals.
Young men, young women to grow up in in a family, in a community settings where no one is taking advantage of them. Where they can go.
I want. You know what I like, man? Early Walt Disney movies, PG. What's where we're at? PG. I want to see the kinsmen. Like, you know, you see those old Walt Disney movies. You got the sheriff. Hi, Mr. Sheriff. Hey, such a piece of the fireman. Hi, that's what I want. That's a community I want to build. You know, where a kid could walk around and he has adults that's not trying to prey on him, but adults that are role models. You know, he has role models in his life. You know, you wonder why kids are going crazy? We don't have any role models. You know, you got people out here talking about this. You know, Anthony Ali, shut the heck up, man. Here they come. You know. We need people, communities with role models, right? You know, I'm a rated G, PG type of guy. You know, I like family entertainment stuff. We want to build amusement parks where the kids can go. The kids, camping, boating, fishing. You know, that's how you have fun. You know, with people going out and families getting together. You know, we're making a fire and stuff like that. I want to see. I can't wait to see young couples coming over there with their children. Enrolling kids into our academies and stuff like that. And the parents are out there working and whatnot. You know, the kinsmen get together on the weekends and we're camping, we're celebrating, we're just having a jubilant time. But we're also taking care of business. And we can party like anybody, you know. But we're gonna be like we're gonna celebrate our heroes and everything like that. We're gonna be a free people for once. That's what we want. That's what the African project is all about. We're going to build our own communities throughout the African continent, right? And one day with the guys that have the ultimate thing of building a completely independent state run by the diaspora. That's the goal. And it's not up for negotiations. Now, if you have a problem with that, you better come on here and explain to me what you have opposite. Because right now, there's no other choice. If you want a Chinka stand, a Euro stand, or Arab stand, a Levant stand, or you want an African stand in Africa, one of the things is going to happen. Now, China's trying to their best to build a China stand in Africa. They have their own networks of communities all across the continent. The Indians, the India stands are all over the continent. They're networked together. Same thing we're talking about here, support system, creating standard models of communities and everything. You notice how when you go to Chinatown, all the communities are all the same? The restaurants are all the same? They're all on the same page. They have duplication. You know, you don't apply. Well, we give you the blueprint. You want to build a community over here? Hey, we already got the blueprints for you. That's what the African stand is all about. You know. I don't know about that. I didn't hear him say that. I didn't hear Brandon say. You try to start something with us with Brandon. Brandon's my brother. You know, from another mother. Don't try to start that stuff. You know. You know, the bottom line is, I don't know what this girl's problem was. Bottom line is she put herself in this situation because she had tweets and social media was anti-black men. I feel sorry that any human beings lost, black, white, whatever. But at the same time, right, my thoughts and prayers are with her. That's all I can do. I'm not going to get out there and protest and everything like that because she put herself in. I'll just give her my thoughts and prayers like everybody else. Our thoughts and prayers with the family. You know, they lost everything, you know, butchered, murdered. They have nowhere to go. But our thoughts and prayers with them. We're not going to give them any money, no support, nothing like that. But our thoughts and prayers with the family. I'm so sick and tired of people's thoughts and prayers and shit, you know. Keep your goddamn thoughts and prayers. You know, same thing with coming to Africa and everything like that. I don't want to hear anybody's thoughts and prayers. Where's the freaking, show me the goddamn money. You know. Show me the land, show me the money, show me what we can do. Your thoughts and prayers. Your thoughts and prayers don't mean shit to me, you know? You know, I thoughts and prayers, you know, thoughts and prayers, you know? I think. You know, I don't care what it is. Everybody wants to give us lip service, Bomani. Lip service. Everybody want to kick in and say, this is what I can do. Boom. And that's what the people I'm connecting with now. all across the continent, right? We're gonna do this stuff. We already got the people, man. We got the engineers, we got the scientists, we got the investors, we got everybody, man. You know. But the
Yeah, brother.
bottom line, we just need people leading this charge, and Bomani and I are gonna lead this charge. Why? Because everybody else, man, just I don't know. People are weak. They're lukewarm. They're weak. You know, they're not. Their stomach's not in it. You know, they don't really believe it. You know, there's a thing.
Yes, brother, and I can say that from experience. Because I'm out there connecting with people to connect them to Africa on tourism investment, and just like any other business, you have 200 people that say they want to do something, and by the time you finish, you end up with 50.
Yeah,
things like that.
True believers, we're looking for the true believers, right? This thing got to be in your heart and soul. That's what it has to be. It has to be down in your soul. It's like you can't see any other way. You know, you eat, breathe, and dream this. You know, you want to know what African's all about. You know, having our own city states and nation states on the African continent. Being able to have our own monetary system with all our money. We don't need the U.S. dollar no more. We got all the money we need, the wealth. We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves because black people have been so conditioned to the struggle, white supremacy, that they don't even know what it's like to be free. You know, it's like an elephant. You ever see a thing where you put a chain on an elephant leg, right? And he tries to break it, right? Now you take that chain and put it on another elephant, right? And put a string on that elephant, right? He won't even try to break it anymore. That's what we have in Black America. People think that they come up with this stupid stuff that we're foundational Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. You got these fools out here now talking about we don't want to be Africans, we're just Americans. You know, you're a freaking fool. You heard that Brandon Tatum, most fools. I'm an American. Are you a freaking fool? You're a jackass. You'll pass up a whole dang continent. You know, your heritage, your bloodline. You're cursed, but you say something like that, you are being cursed by your ancestors. Your ancestors are cursing you, and you'll never be blessed. The only group of people that turn their back on their bloodline and ancestors are the so-called African American. The people that basically talk like that, they want to erase their history, call themselves Native Americans like that. They're nothing but race traitors, and they'll never be blessed because you never know where you're going unless you know where you've been. Well, you know where you've been and everything, like I basically did. I knew my answers and everything, and I got my DNA tests and everything. I study history. These are the people I come from, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to make the best of it. Now, it used to be a time where Black men were satisfied with being among other Black people. The white man said, I got a fix for that. I'm going to turn your little sanctuaries, your communities that you have, you call home and everything, Will Smith, west side of Philly, West Philadelphia, born and raised. Now look at West Philadelphia. It's a hell on earth. White man said, well, I'll fix that all right. Now we don't have the communities of sanctuary to brag about anymore. We don't have those formidable years when I had my first kiss at that movie theater on there. You know, that movie theater shut down. You know what I'm saying? So this is I said, Ali, you can't be Native and African. You gotta be one or the other. Now, if you claim Native American heritage, hey, go right with like that. But the bottom line is this: if you're a Black African, that bloodline of Africa cancels out everything. That's your identity. I'm not Native American, right? I did my DNA. I got 1% Native American blood. I don't claim that at all. I'm a Black African. That's who I am. That's when the white man, when I was discriminated against, they didn't say, look, you Native part 1% Native. They didn't say you 8% Welsh, right? They looked at me and said, look, nigga, that's who I am. I'm Black. That's the way the world says I'm a Black man. And I'm proud of it. I'm never going to deny my roots and my African heritage and everything for no one. Now, if America has a problem with that, then so be it. Then fuck America then. That's how I feel right there. You can't serve two masters. Now I realize I'm in America and I have a good life here and everything like that. But the bottom line, that mean America I owe America my soul or my allegiance. Same way you got Hasidic communities all across America. They don't salute the American flag. You got Amish communities. That's another thing. We have so-called separatist Black communities and everything, but the whole thing. Yeah, well, okay, you want to talk about Firestone? Yeah, but that wasn't so much as Firestone. Let me tell you about history. Right? Firestone was, Liberian government used Firestone, right, to save its sovereignty. I hate to say this, right? Even though I love Marcus Garvey, but Marcus Garvey was a brilliant man. I love him, but every man makes mistakes. The Liberia plan that he was going to do, right, wasn't his idea. The idea of Liberia, if you get my book, Journey to the Promised Land, right? Voyage of the Bark Azor, get this book, right?
Hold it up. Yeah, keep on holding up. There you go.
Okay, it's about the Exodus of 1878.
You're blocking your name.
Okay, hold up. Okay. It's about the Exodus of 1878 from Charleston, South Carolina to Liberia by the shipping by Liberia Exodus Corporation, right? And they had a successful voyage, only successful voyage that was financed by Black people. And the plan was to spend the next 50, 100 years emigrating to the continent and colonize not just Liberia, but they wanted to send a contingent, a military to the Congo, everything. The United States government, the southern planters and everything who needed Black labor saw this as well. They sabotaged the plan. But the one voyage, the Azore voyage was a maiden voyage. That was the only voyage. The plan was to buy more ships and ship equipment and everything to the African continent. Garvey, and this plan was on the books before Garvey got to the United States. And so a lot of the people from the Azore, remember the Azore and everything, got with Garvey. So that's why Garvey's movement came together. He just ignited all this together under one program. This wasn't his, going to Liberia was not Garvey's central thing. He wanted to liberate the whole Africa. There were certain people who said, look, let's start with Liberia, right? And so because Liberia is a sovereign republic, that became the focus point and everything. And they knew they had to sabotage him going to Liberia, because if he was successful, then the bottom line, more of us will come. More of us will come. They'll fear that Black people from America will sail to South Africa and put that in good. They feared that we sail to the Congo. They were terrified of the Black people of the diaspora coming to the continent. So they put threats on Liberia that if Garvey people come there, we're going to invade you. And Liberia would have been lost. So at the same time, after the demise of Garvey, right, then they still talked about invading Liberia under this bogus thing called the Fernando Po situation. So therefore, they used Firestone as a cover because the war was going to break out in Europe, right? Harvey Firestone wanted to get cheaper rubber. So he used his diplomatic thing to tell the English, leave Liberia alone. America has interest in getting rubber. So there was a win-win situation for Liberia. You know, unfortunately, because Liberia was vitally connected to the war effort and everything, the Garvey movement was in peril. So, like I said, it's history. But we learn from history, right? We learned that there's no reason why people couldn't have picked up that post-World War II Garvey energy and continued on. That didn't happen. Why? Because after Garvey, after World War II, they started talking about civil rights and integration. Black people talk about, we fought in the war, now it's time to integrate. No, we should have basically continued right after the war, right, what Garvey was talking about. Everybody lost interest in her. There was a movie back in the day called Cotton Comes to Harlem. You ever seen that, Brother Bomani? Cotton Comes to Harlem with Red Fox and that dude, what's this called? That dude that played Biggie Smalls, you know? Cotton Comes to Harlem was about black people in Harlem in the 70s trying to buy land and continue Garvey's work, you know? The idea of us going to Africa and never left the Black people in America. Never left. So the idea of repatriating and building communities and building African American and diaspora colonies and settlements in Africa, it's always been on the minds of Black people. Just that we just now have the one person here, the BAIO group and Bomani Tyehimba, who's saying, yes, we're going to do this and it's possible. So that's what it is. And also, there's an old thing in South Africa, the Transkei state, called Amalinka. And people say, Kyle, I say, why are you talking about Amalinka? What does that mean? Amalinka was a cult, a Garveyite cult in South Africa in the 1920s, right? It's called Amalinka. Okay? Amalinka just means there was African Americans who were going to descend on the continent, right? and bring great shit. They had pictures of Garvey with shit. They had they exaggerated. Like I said, there's an old saying, college exaggeration is the bastard child of enthusiasm. Well, Alvin Malinka was an exaggeration of the Garvey movement, right? And they had people in the Southern African region saying that Black America, African Americans were coming with ships and battle tanks to wipe out whites and all the race traders. That's called Alma Malinka. You know, and it was fanatical. It was very fanatical. Because why? Because they show pictures of it got so fanatical that they banned the Negro what's the Negro World paper Garvey had. They banned the publication of the
Negro World.
The Negro World. They banned Negro World publications in Portuguese Africa, French Africa. They were so terrified of this movement called Alma Malinka. You know, that means the African Americans are going to send on Africa like a plague. You know, and which is the final thing called Uhuru, you know, the great Uhuru or uprising or liberation. You know, so the bottom line is this. We are dead serious about this. You know, we're dead serious about this movement. And we're going to basically build these, the Afghanistan. We're going to build these communities. We're going to build everything. We're going to have our own military, everything. We're going to have, the bottom line, it's a revolution. We're not going to suffer no more. We're not going to suffer humiliation. We're not going to suffer all this nonsense that we go through right now. So all the bootlickers and all the people that want to bootlick white people to death and whatnot, and they want to have a conversation on race or whatnot. You know, I've had all the conversations I'm going to have. Now it's time for a revolution. And when you know what a revolution, Malcolm X said, if you know what a revolution is, you keep that out of your mouth. Because a revolution is not playing games. A revolution is serious. A revolution is uncompromising. We're uncompromising about this. The Afghanistan is a revolution. 500 years we've been governed by other people. It's time for us to govern ourselves. It's time for us to have the final say of what goes on in our lives. That's what the Afghanistan is all about. That's a revolution. Now, if you don't agree with that and everything, I don't know what to tell you. You're not a real Pan-Africanist. You're not a real Black nationalist.
Yeah, that's the thing is we have to define these terminologies because a lot of people call themselves this and that, and they're nothing like that. Like, you know, as people reach out to me and say they're about this, the next thing you know, all the stuff that they talk about, they don't show and prove. So, you know, let me just post our community link up there. You know, I've had people join this beautiful community and the beautiful setup, and you know, and they come with their own mindset. If they were in something that the white folks built, they wouldn't act like this and be trying to, you know, cancel and refund and all.
White people. Oh, yes, a boss.
Yeah, once we come together and we're trying to build something, we have to learn to stick together and stick with it. And that's been the biggest issues that I've had since we've been building this business, Africa for Africans, and also our Black Star Pan-African community. We need dedicated Black people that literally are committed to the end of time, the end of their life cycle, and in death, we want them to be the ancestors that, you know, support the energy and keep it going. You know, everything has to be generational. You know, that's the word that we use in generational. You know,
continuity.
Yeah, you set yourself up. You know, by the time we're in our 60s, you know, we already have other people in their 40s, and then we have another group in their 20s. And so, like in 20 years increments, you know, we have generational setup.
Continuity. This generation is going to take it to the next level.
And then at the end of the day, like you mentioned about the Italians, what do Italians call themselves nowadays? Americans, right? Yeah. And so what are we calling ourselves when we go to Africa and generation pass by, and then we intermarry and interconnect? What are we going to be? We're African citizens. We're Ghanaians. We're Tanzanian. We're whatever, you know. But we're part of the African nation, and that's what I'm telling people. The strategy that we have to build these communities is to get to the point where we can be organized to work with governments in Africa and work with the movers and the shakers and other organizations that are, whether they're maybe Nigerian, Ghanaian, and so on. But at this point, when we organize ourselves, we'll come from a position of strength and power, and then we connect with another group that comes from a position of strength and power, and we build this thing. And we're telling people this is serious. It has to be by us as Black people. We can't just be. And I know some people may feel aware when we're talking that certain people are not including things like that, but we got to keep this thing Black and strong. And this is
because once we do that, then the bottom line, if one or two swirlers sneak in, it's no fun. They ain't gonna change anything. If the initial stage of this got to be black, you know what I'm saying? You know, the bottom line, we have to cheat that. That has to be like I'm saying. You can never penetrate white America. Why? Because they got 400 years of wiring to produce white and everything like that. You can never
they're always on what? They're always on what code, right?
Yeah, they're all gonna be on code what they were saying. You know, black people once we get into there, we're gonna change things. They ain't changed a goddamn thing. You living on the end of their block and whatnot, and they basically still look at you like them poor Negroes. You know, they don't give a shit. They got that white thing going on. They got that white skin. They're part of white America. You know, and the bottom line is that they don't care about none of that stuff you talk about. You know, they're on code where they know it's going to be like that. They look at you like, Negroes, man, I feel sorry for you, but they know the infrastructure's set up for them. You know, and like I said, we have to get like that. We have to. The end game is have our own. The first thing is when we have that first municipality. What I mean municipality is it has a charter by the government of Ghana or whatever Ghana saying. What's the name of the town? What's the name of the town?
Our town is called Jahadzi, and our community is Black Star Pan-African Community.
Check this out. Once you have Jahadzi as a municipal center, right?
Right.
And then we basically say, okay, once you have municipal, you have your department, you have your different departments of parks, department of this, a city said, department of the revenue. You know, once it's run like a city and a municipality, right? And it has a seal, a coat of arms and stuff like that. So when people say Jahadzi is 5 miles up ahead, they know they're going into your jurisdiction. A municipality gives you jurisdiction. That means once you like that, you have the local power of everything. It'll stop anybody that comes in anything. That's power. That's strength.
Absolutely, brother. And that's what we're looking to do. The chief that we're working with, we have had many conversations. I went there to his palace. We have talked. And break bread as brothers and everything, and that's what it takes. It takes us from the diaspora and us on the continent working. People like myself, I don't have any access to land in this country or anywhere else. So the fact that we was able to connect, we bring the resources, and the chief got access to certain things.
And there's so much land. There's so much land in Liberia and Sierra Leone. They're like trying to give it away. They're like we people in the West see that land. We're like drooling. Africans like. You want it? You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about a couple of acres. I'm talking about thousands of acres of land.
Exactly. I mean, the land in Africa is vast. And the thing of it is, brother, if we don't make these deals with the chiefs and the people on this land, the government and so on, other people are going to come. I'm telling you.
The Chinese are going to come. Everybody's going to
come. The Chinese, the Indians, and
that's why we have to plant.
India, I think they've been here for like several generations. So it's like they already have, and then they're represented by what? A nation. Those three countries I mentioned. When you talk about the Africans in the diaspora, we're not represented by any nation. Let's think about a country like Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, and so on. You do have black faces in government, but just like you have black faces in government in Africa, do those black faces represent us as a people? More than likely not. So that's what I'm telling people. This has to be a movement of the people. Garvey's first party was called the People's Political Party, PPP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what politics has to be about. It has to be about the people. Just like we're dedicated to. We dedicate our life to what? Our people, our brothers and sisters, to be leaders, to take them to the next. Take them on a next level, and things like that. So I'm telling people, if you have these connections and these skills, come and connect, because together we're stronger. And then anyone that opposes us, we're strong enough to where they're irrelevant. Like a lot of people that's on YouTube and around us running their mouth about Africa and have issues with us doing what we're doing in Africa, they're just irrelevant because they don't have a solution or another option. So just like when I talk to my brothers and sisters here in America, when they ask me about Africa, and I tell them, I was like, what do we really own, or what have we really built in the last 3-4 decades? Things. So now we have a chance, because we have reevaluated the situation. Whenever we've seen these situations going on where you're organizing yourself and you're trying to build communities in America, and then next thing like one of the things I always remember was Philadelphia. I don't know the exact year, but I want to say it's in the 80s. Organization.
Yeah, the move movement was born.
You know everything, man. I remember that. I remember when it happened. Go ahead and share some information about that.
I was watching it live, man, when it happened. It was summer of 85, man. I was watching it live, man. It was a black mayor that said, "Yo, we're tired of these people here, whatnot," And the community,
a black mayor. That's
the community around them was like, we're tired. They could have solved it a different way. The black community was tired of them, and that's all the white people need to know. The black mayor and the black community was like, yo, these people are just freaking. But the thing is, with the Moon people, right? What they could have did was, if they want to live like that, they should have went to Africa. You don't go to Philadelphia and say, we want to live natural and stuff like that, close to nature. You go down to Georgia. You go down to
exactly. And that's what I'm saying to you, that once you see these things, you have to come up with a strategic plan, because I'm not going to build a diaspora community here in Georgia. And next thing you know, all the rednecks pop out the woodworks like they trying to build true black power. That's not authorized.
Oh man, the bottom line, that'll be Bomani, I wouldn't let you do it, man. I wouldn't.
you'll talk some sense into me.
Yeah, I'll talk some sense, man. Like I said, you got people out here who still I said, go right ahead, man. No, we're gonna build it right here. Black authority talk about you're gonna get some land and cordon it off. I said, you ain't gonna have no cord, nothing off inside the United States.
Have they not learned what happened in the last 120 years, or even go further back if you want? I'm just using that as just a time frame. We have not been able to do that. So why do you think you can do that now? You know what I mean?
Yo, remember Waco, Texas?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember. I even seen.
Yeah, they did that to those white kids. Well, imagine what they'll do to us. Remember?
Oh yeah, that was wild, brother. That was wild. That was their own.
The federal government. All they have to do is say this is arsenal. You got an arsenal in there. They got to come in there, guns blazing. They look what they did with that was a Mormon guy, right? Now this is what I'm saying. What this is this. These guys say, something, we don't want nothing part of the modern world, right? These white people. They say they built their own communities, right? And guess what, right? And because grown men were like guys that were 23, 24 were marrying girls that were 16, right? They went in there, these white liberal social workers went in there and broke up families and everything, and carried the women up. Women said, we don't want to go nowhere. No, you're being oppressed and everything. They said, this is where Warren Jeffs, that's what his name is, right? They went in there and broke up their whole commune and everything. They had whole organized community. They said, we don't want nothing from the government and everything. We build our own home and everything. We have our religion. We're celebrating everything. We believe in marriage. We like that. The federal government said, you ain't gonna do that around in here. So the Bible, they said, we don't want none of your freaking. They said we don't want none of your modern world. We don't want our girls running around here on being sluts and partying, drinking. We don't do all that stuff like that. We just want to live in peace. What I'm saying? They said, these people are backward and archaic. That's what they probably think about us. We're backward and archaic because we want to build a traditional communities and we want to get back to family and stuff like that. They think we're stupid. It's an attack on traditionalism all over the world. There's attack on, they say, the institution of marriage, right? And man, woman, child, we cherish. They say that's backward and antiquated. Man, woman, and child is backward and it's oppressors of women. You guys are cavemen. You want to put the women back in barefoot and pregnant and all this stuff that we're up against. This is stuff we're up against. Garvey wasn't up against. It was apparent that we need to build communities. Most black men have wives and women, wives in their lives and everything, and that's why we got to fight people like the Negropean. And I always say, bippity bippity bob, Negropean needs a job. Spiffity piffity pife, Negropean needs a life. So bippity bippity bob. I'm gonna come up more. I'm a nursery rhyme. I'm like Andrew, like this. Rover, neck over, and Jack the Jew went up the hill to fetch a bucket of water. Jack went down, Joe fell down, landed on Jack's dick, and I'm gonna come up more of them. That's came up with those top of my head. Bippity bippity bob, Negropean needs a job. Spiffity piffity pife, Negropean needs a life.
You keep
somebody out there,
he's gonna come after you too.
Yeah, somebody out there got to give Negropean a job. I'm putting out an all points bulletin, right? Somebody give that nigga a job. Don't give him nothing where he's sitting around a computer. Get him a job where he's lifting weights and everything. I saw him today. Negropean looks old, man. I got a good look at him today.
He's enjoying European welfare and European. Yeah,
he's on that European welfare. That's it. An idle mind is a devil's workshop, right? An idle mind is on that devil's workshop, right? Negropean is idle mind, right? So he has nothing else better to do with try to discredit people that's actually doing work. You know, who would trust you people? Who would trust you? You ain't got no business, no nothing. You know, you got nothing.
Brother, would you really send $10,000 to do business with a guy who called himself the unapologetic Nigerian?
Yeah, who? I was
like
press. Yo, check this out. Okay, press 1 if you were in the chat room. You would say you would give money to Nigerian. Press 2 if you say hell no, I'll never give that nigga shit.
I mean, you have to really be an unintelligent person to do business with someone. That person is not a business. First of all, like I tell people when it comes to, let me switch myself over. When I tell people about business and things like that, business is based on track records and being able to get things done. I have, right in this small building right here, represent 3 enterprise: Bomani Technology and Business Services, Africa for the African Tourism Investment, and Black South Pan-African Community. That is an integration between technical and business administration. You can't play with that. You have to be able to do the job. It's kind of like I was in the Navy, and they're not just gonna let anybody fly an F-14 or F-18 jet and land on a plane and take off on a plane. That is some serious training. Or have any young teenagers go out there and work on certain things. What they did was train you, and that's what we need our young men to do: get trained.
I'll visit aviation schools, what's it called? With the drone schools, wherever technology is, we're gonna have
opportunities we have in Ghana. And those are opportunities that we have when we build our own communities. Like some people,
we have our own industrial and technology parks, and
that's why you have to get land for commercial districts so you can do industrialization. And then when you talk about technical training, like all the backgrounds I have, when we build that business center there in Jahadzi, literally all students welcome, free tuition. You come learn, then you get out there and you work in enterprise. You work.
Don't go to Europe. Don't get the skill. Don't you get the skills from us. You don't go to Europe. You come. You stay.
Exactly, because look what our people are doing. Like someone was posting something and they said the first thing they wonder is like, why are Black people in Ukraine? And the first thing I tell people is like, that's the situation of us as Black people. Like when we're in Jamaica, we're like, yo, this is not working. So we got to try something else. Next, we end up in America. Some of my family is in Canada and some of us in England. Sad story. But I've learned from that. And that's why we're doing what we're doing in Africa, because our people are going to leave what they have. They're going to leave the treasure of their own country, the riches in their own countries.
And we're reversing that.
They're going to go to a fake system.
We're going to get now. Anthony Ali is saying 1. I said, press 1 if you trust a Negropean. He pressed 1, fool. Anthony,
that's what a Negropean trolls. That's what a Negropean trolls. Unless you got the text wrong, but
I got Mufasa. I got Mufasa's Shabazz. We're gonna put the link in the chat room, man, to him. I would like to hear from him, man. I haven't heard. He's been in Nigeria for a long time. I like to hear him go. Put the link in the chat room, Bomani.
I will put the link, and we're trying to avoid doing these 4-hour sessions.
Oh, we're not doing 4 hours tonight. We're how we on an hour and a half. We got 20 more minutes.
To wrap up in the next 10 minutes. But
I haven't eaten dinner yet, man. So I ordered my food from Grubhub at 7 o'clock. I mean at 6 o'clock, right? And I called him and I was on a conference call, right? I get off the conference call. I thought my food was gonna be downstairs, whatever like that. Where the hell's my food? There, I called him and said, "Where I put it?" Oh, our machine was down. I said, "It's been 2 or 3 hours." So they sent it out. I said, "Man, I gotta do a show with Bomani." You know what I'm saying? And the food just arrived when I was getting on the. I said, "Man, I'm hungry as hell." But you know how this drives me, man. So I said, "I'll wait, eat." And I ordered some nice pasta and everything like that. I was like, "Yo." I'll wait until after we're done because this is so I had to get this out of here. We explained tonight what the African is all about. I hope I have never been able to say this on other people's shows because they got other stuff, and I don't want to interject. This is controversial. This is very controversial.
You know me, I'm raw, uncut.
But the bottom line, the one person I can bring this to, right, and say, we need to get the message out is Bomani. I said I need Brother Bomani more than ever right now. I need Brother Bomani more than ever right now. What the African is all about, it's not just one nation where it's a satellite. You know what a satellite is? A satellite here. A satellite is all connected to one central thing. All the communities are building a satellite communities throughout the world, throughout the continent. We might build an African somewhere in Europe. Who knows? Who knows? I just hypothetically, we might build one in Asia. Well, that's not likely. But the bottom line is they are going to be built throughout the African continent. We are going to build our own communities throughout the African continent. And we're all going to have that one state, that one nation state. When we're going to be strong enough to basically just say, look, you see that part of Angola and the Congo? That's perfect for what we're trying to do. You know, we got the money, we got the manpower and everything, we got the pipeline and everything. We're just gonna go in there and that's just gonna be built. And it's gonna be recognized. Also, we're gonna have all the country, we're gonna build so much political and economic capital in Africa, right? That we're gonna rewrite the African Union Charter, we're gonna rewrite all this up, we're gonna get our people out of the French monetary zone, we're gonna get them out of the Eurozone. We're not gonna need America, nothing like that. We're gonna have everything on the continent. We're gonna have the people in America and the people in Africa, because right now it's a firewall. We have no infrastructure, black infrastructure, connecting us with the African continent. So when I first started doing the BIL, right? I always thought that our past generations had it down pat, all I had to do was good. Then I found out we have really nothing. They established nothing for it. But then again, it was a Cold War, and they didn't have the information we had, you know. So they did what the best they could. Our past elders, they did what they could do. Now there's no excuse with us right now with all the technology and all the stuff that we know and everything like that. There's no excuse why we can't do this. We have all the brain power, technology, and everything. We're just not organized.
Absolutely.
And that's what the Black African infrastructure is all about. Organization, infrastructure. You know, that's what this is all about. We need the best minds, the strongest people. We have to recognize hierarchy, you know? You know, we have to recognize all these things. So we're basically we have to do this, right? Because it'll make it easy. I'm seeing people go into the continent, waste away. Look who it is. Mufasa, man. What's going on, brother?
Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we get
Oh,
you.
brother, I can hear you loud and clear. Rock on.
Hey, what's going on, Kala? How you been, man?
What's going on? Going good, man. Look at it. Let me tell you about Mufasa, man. He was one of my first. He was my first. He was one of my first listeners. You know, back in 2009, man. He was one of my first listeners.
You're a revolutionary.
Yeah, he's been there. Y'all touch, man. He came a long way over the years, man. He came a long way over the years. He always smart.
Us growing.
Yeah, there it is,
bro. RBG flag. That is
there it is, brother.
No, yeah, I'm out here, man. I'm out here in Tijuana, actually, man. I'm in Mexico right now, here on the border. Yeah, so I came back for a few months.
All right, yeah, you was there a long time, man. I thought you became a citizen, man.
Yeah, listen, everybody that watched my page, they don't even know where I live. Like when I popped up in an event. It was an event at the Malcolm X Library in San Diego. For those that don't know, there's a Malcolm X Library in America. We got one in San Diego. And everybody that sees me, because I used to do Black Division, like recording in my neighborhood, so for like Black events and stuff. So everyone that sees me, they always say like, "Man, I thought you lived in Jamaica. I thought you lived in Nigeria. I thought you lived in Haiti." Like they just see me online, you know what I mean? So they don't know where I'm at.
Yeah, so like I said, Mufasa, man, all the work you've been doing. Tell us about what you've been doing in Nigeria, brother. You know,
I wouldn't say I was doing work in Nigeria, to be honest. So the thing with me being in Nigeria, so during the pandemic and the years leading up to it, I was living in Palm Springs, and I had dropped a lot of what I was doing because me and he's like a business partner, but he's so close I call him my uncle. We had a legal dispensary in Palm Springs, working on that for about a year and a half, and all through the pandemic because we were allowed to stay open. So I was on that whole entire year and a half. I was completely focused on that, real stressed and working on that. So that whole time I was doing that, and then we ended up selling early mid last year. So when we sold, I took that as an opportunity to leave and go to Nigeria and I was editing a film or a documentary film that I can't put out for, that's another story because I don't have payment. But I was editing a documentary film and just spending my time over there. So that's really what I was doing. I can't really say I was doing any organizing or any type of work or anything. But there was my opportunity to just, after a year and a half of hard work and doing all of that, to work on that, I just ended up moving there. That's really what I was doing there. But I went all around the country. And the messed up part is while I was there, I wanted to go to South Africa, right? But as soon as this was last year, if you guys remember, that's when all the the unrest popped off. That's when I was in Nigeria when the unrest popped up between the Zulus.
Yeah, I wondered that SARS situation, And
no, not the SARS. When they, I think they wanted to prosecute Jacob Zuma, so unrest popped
Oh,
off in the
South Africa.
country.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
uprising.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
People forgot about they leveled Durban and stuff like that. They just ransacked the whole country, man. I was like, whoa, so you weren't in South Africa at that time?
No, I couldn't make it. So that was my plan.
The country was a mess, man.
Right.
I wanted to go. Was a mess.
It was actually, I knew someone that was there at that time. You know, it was a brother. He's lived in Ghana. He's on YouTube. I forget his name, like Walter or something. But I was talking to him, and I was considering going, but it just didn't make sense for me to go at that time because I felt like that was a good opportunity because round trip to South Africa from Nigeria is like $500 or something like that. 500 with Air Peace or one of those black airlines. So I figure, okay, let me do it. Let me go while I'm there, you know, so I can knock both of those things out. But I didn't make it over there.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That's great researching and things like that. And that's what I tell people. You get out there and just, do the work and, empower the rest of us. So excellent work, brother.
No doubt, man. Mufasa, let me ask you a question. Now, you've been around the BAO for years, right? This idea of land infrastructure, nationhood, building communities and stuff like that. What's your take on this right now? And stuff. With
what?
The building our own infrastructure in the African continent.
Building. I still that's still something I want to see happen. I feel like since I've been actually engaging with Africa, I first went in 2019, and I've made a few trips since then. Since engaging, I see that we got a long way in terms of like having our own thing carved out. But going around and seeing things for myself, I feel like at least we should get started with something. Like
that's what Bomani's doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about. It's like what Bomani is doing. There's plenty of opportunity to just get started with something. That's what I said. I got my eyes set on some places in Nigeria, some things I want to do. Just start with something simple. Right. Land, a few jobs, to people.
Yeah, community land. Because when you're employing people and you're buying, people don't understand when you build a community, right? You're gonna have your own supermarkets. Who's going to benefit? The people that live there, because they're going to be trying to wholesale and supply you with stuff,
Yeah, everything that we do in Africa, the local people are going to profit and benefit.
The local people are going to profit from what we're doing.
Absolutely, and that's
but we're not together. We're not together, right? We're all over the place. Where you can't centralize your thing. We say, okay, you could be one of our vendors. You could be one of our suppliers and everything like that. The local people will make sure you get whatever you want. But we as black people don't do that. We don't centralize because we don't work together. Everybody's individual, and instead of us being together and saying we're gonna build right here. This is a community right here. This is an enclave right here. Like that. We're all in one place. We have a planning committee, and stuff like that. All that working together. And
because like I said, spending time out there, man, you see, it's hard to go out there and not want to invest in something because, like, especially. I could say in Nigeria for sure. I go around and I talk. There's so many talented people, bright people. They just don't have any opportunities to do anything, So it just makes you really want to just give some type of opportunities. And it doesn't take much to give some people a chance to do some work or a chance to do something. Everybody's hungry. Everybody wants a chance to do something. Like you talk to your guy, he might be driving your Uber, and this dude, he sounds like he's got like a doctorate from a college. Then you talk to him, and he does though. You talk to him, and he does. So it just but he can't do anything because there's no opportunity. So that's definitely what happened for me when I was out there. That was my thinking.
Yeah. So building these globalized smart cities where the diaspora is interacting with the local people, and we're building together. And when we're pulling out brain power and everything, it'll benefit everybody. And we have to educate people. Say building these smart cities and whatnot that we could port over, connecting with our colleges and building new universities all over the continent and education. It's a win-win, It's a win-win. There's no reason why our people should be in Ukraine right now, cold-ass Ukraine, up there getting chased. I mean, it's just unbelievable,
Like my brother said right here, chasing degrees, because that's what most people are gonna say. They're students, right?
Yeah, everybody say they're students. They're students and whatnot, man. You ain't no student, man. Just there. The bottom line is this: we got to do better. We have to do better. And like 20 years ago, man, I thought Nigeria. I said, look, but I'm thinking with the African American mind, you know. I said, man, when I bought this book back in more than that. It was 95. I bought this book called Nigeria. I still got it, but new night. Well, I'll live with you, right? I got it from the library. I never returned it. It's the book of Nigeria. I was like, man, this is the country. I said, yo, they said Nigeria got this, that, and the other thing, right? I was like, yo, this country should be a world power, right? Yeah, I said like this. They said Liberia has the potential to be a world power. That's when the Ken Saro-Wiwa thing was going on and whatnot. And I was a Nigerian enthusiast, man, you know? And then Abacha came to power and everything. He straightened Nigeria up a lot, right? But the West wanted him gone. You know, the West wanted him gone.
Help me with this, Kala. So recently I heard in a lecture that they banned education in Nigeria in 2007. And then I've also heard the date that it was banned in 1982. Do you know anything about that?
No, I haven't heard that. What in the northern Nigeria? I know in northern Nigeria.
Period. So they took the study, the classes that of history out of it, and then people just picked up a little bit of things here and there in social studies. And
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Check this out. I had this one Nigerian girl that was talking to me on Facebook back in 2000, I think it was 2015, right? And she goes, well, where are you from? America. She goes, well, what race are you? Where are you? I said, I'm black. I'm African American, right? And she goes, you're African? And I said, yeah, I got roots in Nigeria, right? She goes, well, how'd you get to America?
It was stolen.
I said,
joke?
I said, how did she go? There's black people in America. How did they get there? And this was like a girl in her 20s. She had no idea.
And a lot of people like that, unfortunately.
Oh, go ahead, Bomani.
Yeah, I was saying a lot of people that we're gonna meet, especially if they're not in like the city and at the universities and the schools, they're not gonna get that education. Even though you have dungeons and historical places there, and it's not talking down to anyone in Africa, because the same thing here. I told people I didn't know nothing about any of what we're talking about until I was like in my early 20s and things like that. And that's why that's why it's so important for us to do these lectures and connect our people and educate our people. I was just showing the book Black Africa, Sheikh Anta Diop, one of our greatest scholars, and all he did was just laid out all the natural resources in this book and all the opportunities that we have. And that's what I was telling people: if you feel like we don't have opportunities here in America to do the things that we ultimately want to do, then African content is there, and we just have to build relationships.
And build permanent relationships. You know, we can't be going back and forth. We got basically one day build these communities and whatnot. So they're operating on our interest rates, so people can easily just come over and get where they fit in. If you want to live in Uganda, we got a community. We got communities over there. Networks over there set up. We got live in Tanzania, and then all those communities on the continent are interworking with each other. You know, like the Indians. Do you think the Indians in Durban aren't connected with the Indians in Nairobi? You're sadly mistaken. They're working together across continent. The Indians in Tanzania, and they have their own connections and everything. They're working together. They don't even work together in India, but they're united in Africa. You see what I'm saying? Because they know the black people in Africa, they know it's Team India. And
it's a trip talking to some of these people, man. They living in these countries. I was talking to I stayed in Victoria Island for a night at this like high rise. I was sitting talking to this Pakistani guy. He was born in Nigeria. He was born in Nigeria. He went back to Pakistan, and he didn't want to stay there. He sees himself as a Nigerian, and he's been working there. He's been living there. We talk business. He's been doing in tech. We sat and talked for like an hour and a half. You know what I mean? All business, different things he was doing. So it was just fascinating to me talking to all these people, man. Even on what you were saying before in terms of history, the understanding of history is very lacking. And it's not just that they don't know the story of the slave trade. It's just they just don't have a lot of exposure to world history in general, which is really that's why
the reality of white people. Also, that's why they're going through what they're going through in Ukraine right now. You know, they take white people's silence, and you see Americans are very they'll let you know. You know, but in Europe they have this whole thing where they seem nice. Oh yeah, I went to your country on vacation. Toulouse. But underneath the surface, you got that neo-Nazi shit boiling in their hearts. And it takes an incident like this for all to come out. You know, like I said, when white Africans, for the most part, have never seen the side of white people that we have. You know, that's why they come over here with this nonsense about, oh, America is not bad. And they're working with a lot of white supremacists to undermine and discredit us, right? We say America's racist, right? We say no matter what we get, so no matter what I'm doing in life, I know if I was white, I'd be 10 times further, you know? So, yes, white people have a thing where they'll give you a little crumbs, right? They'll give you the job at the shipyard and everything like that, right? Those are black jobs. They already have it figured out. Well, the black man, okay, we'll give him this amount a year, whatnot. He can pay his kids for college and everything. But you're not going to have the salary and the benefits that they have, you know? That's why they would say never discuss how much you make. You ever say that? Don't discuss what you make. Why? Because that white boy is getting paid double what you make, and he got all kinds of benefits and everything like that. That's how they have it. And so the bottom line, the bottom is dropping out. We have people now, right? We have he got my book. He got the book. Yeah, there he is. There he is. You know, him and Kofi. You know, Kofi was even taking my book and making cartoons and drawings of the different scenes in the book, you know?
Well, absolutely, excellent work. I want to start wrapping it up. But yeah, I think since you read Kala's book, can you just give us a quick overview so other people can understand what the book is about so they can order it?
No, yeah. So I love the book. The book basically gave you, it was a fictional book, and it laid out the setting of what it looked like for our people at that time, you know. And the key thing that I picked up from the book, it showed you where the Pan-Africanist was, where the spirit of the people who we are today was then. And it even seemed like it was greater because it was closer to us being there, you know. And then it just mapped out the journey. It gave different characters that expressed each character expressed a different aspect of the community. It showed you the people on the BS. It showed you the serious guy who was responsible, that kept everything held together, you know, the good woman and different things like that. And showed them all going through this journey, you know. And then it showed, I got a chance to see the mindset of someone that wanted to build something and started to build something on the African continent. And by the time they made it there, it wasn't about like this, that. You just got to see them in their dream. You know what I'm saying, in the book. So it's a really, really good book. And like I said, I just started a Saturday school for my daughter, and I think we're gonna read this. We're like in ancient Africa right now, but I'm definitely gonna assign to her.
You know, it'd be a good thing if you could do a play, like a scene, right? You know, remember that scene, the chapter, the middle passage. Oh no, dreams, stories, and tall tales. That was the best chapter, I think. You know, when they're all giving their story, why because some people they're in the middle of ship, some people why did you come? Why are you on this voyage? You had a good life in Charleston, you know. And then there are people telling their stories, and some people are exaggerating what they went through and everything. But the one thing I put in there was the Colfax massacre, right? And I had my guy Ronald, right? He went and researched it, right? Yeah, I said, what do you think? He said, yo, you put down the Colfax massacre and said, that really happened. Yeah. You know, I said, look, I was gonna say, because I learned from this. This was a few years ago. I read this. I didn't know about Edward Wilmot Blyden. Wilmot Blyden. The father.
I didn't know about the Liberian.
I brought him to life. He was brought to life in this book. You know, he was brought to life.
I didn't know about them intercepting slave ships and slave raids, and I didn't know about it. So you're really going to learn, because I'm not really usually into novels, but this is the type of novel that's teaching you study for this novel.
A good novelist, right? This was a good novelist. That's why I like historical novels, right? A good novelist will put stuff in a novel, right, to make people go and research, right? When you read something, I used to read novels all the time, and I said, "What? I never heard of that," you know. It's just like when you watching I can't get off the top of my head. Oh, Jaws, right? You saw the movie, you saw read the novel, right? Remember the part when he talked about the Indianapolis? The world forgot about the Indianapolis, right? When the Japanese torpedoes and they were out to sea and they were eaten by the sharks, right? But they put that in the novel, right? As a part, right? So people started. There's a worldwide thing. What happened with the Indianapolis, right? In the 90s, they were talking about it, right? What happened in Indianapolis? And then one guy got finally exonerated, the ship's captain. But that incident would have been lost in history because people celebrating the end of World War II. People forgot about the Indianapolis, right? And it put in Jaws, and they educated. So as a good novelist is always going to put factual things in there to make people a thing. I used to read Jackie Collins novels, right? When I was a kid, my mother used to have them. I used to sneak and read her novels, right? And she used to talk about Al Capone and the prohibition laws, and I had to research. Did that really happen? Yeah, it really happened. They put it in there, so you can go like that. That's a good knowledge. You can have fiction, right? This is historical fiction, right? But you always want to put facts and dates and everything there to get people to go back and read and redo the research. This was
I would, like I said, I would just say for the people, because I'm like that. I got a bunch of non-fiction books, but there's certain books. This is one of the fiction books that you can definitely read because the story has it's nothing in your mind. You know, there's no movie on Liberia, so this will have to do for now.
And
so
the bottom line is this: I had producers that want to make this into a movie. It would cost me $1,000 to go pitch this to movie producers, you know, and I want to do that. You know, I want to do that, but you know, I want to one day pitch this to and this will be a blockbuster movie. If it goes on Prime or what you call, long as the movie gets made, this movie has to be made.
Yeah,
you know,
because if a movie like that is made, we can use it. Like I could play scenes from a movie like that in my daughter's classroom.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Go for it, bro. You see what I'm saying? That's why we need that type of stuff. Yeah.
That's what we need, you know. So that's why I took the time to write this novel, right? I did my research. I had, you know, I gave you details about ships, right? You're in the galley, right? You're in the sail, right? I had all those terminologies, the wheel, you know, the wheel, all I forgot now, you know, all the friggin' stuff I had to learn, knots, nautical knots, and stuff like that. I had to study navigation. It's like, what is a bark? A bark is a 3-sail mast ship, you know. And stuff like that, you know. I had to learn all this stuff, right, to put that into the characters where they're saying this stuff and everything, you know. So this is what we're talking about, you know. We're talking about people listen to the show. You're talking to 3 guys here that's doing this, you know. We're serious about this, you know. We're serious about this, and I put the time into this novel, right? I did the research because I said I want my people to have something. I believe that this part of our history was important, so I took the time to write this novel. It took me 2 years. Took me a year of research and a year to actually write this thing.
When we get another book, not to hold you up.
Like I said, I want to do the next book. I want to do is the Empire of the Gold, about the Mali Empire. But I got this other guy.
Oh, nice, excellent.
This other guy. I said, call me. Maybe we can collab, right? Because he's doing one. He's doing. I said, Sundi out of the Lion King. You know, the Battle of Karina. I got excerpts and all that for that, like that. I mean, really good. You got to do your research. You got to know who the Bangara was. Those are the gold traders. Who the Dayula was. Those are traders. Dayula means trade in African term. The Nyama Kala, where the Kala Genesis comes from, right, means the craft group system, right? The Taiwara, the god of agriculture. You know, Ogun, the god of iron, fire, and war. You know, you got to know the pantheons. You got to know the barn. All this stuff you got to know when you talk about doing ancient Mali, you know? Even though the gods of the sect, there's a lot of people in Mali who worship Yoruba gods, you know, and stuff like that. So we have to get that all straight. And then you got Islam, you know. What was a part of Islam? Islam comes in, right, was for trade. People, there was the kingdom of Musi. The Musi kingdom stayed independent from Mali, Songhai, all of them. They were a fortified kingdom, right? And they basically, Sunni Ali had them in siege for 7 years. They couldn't penetrate their forts. We have a fascinating history, you know, horsemanship, you know, cavalry, archery, swordsmanship, martial arts, all this stuff like that is fascinating West African history, and I want to bring it to life. But the whole thing is, it's hard to do when, like I said, I don't really make money off of this. I do this out of my own spare time, you know, and nobody wants to put money behind me or anybody else is doing stuff. You know, everybody wants to shake their ass and do hip hop and all this nonsense and everything. We're not getting any place. But one day it's gonna be done. One day I'm gonna really do this, you know. And one day, once we get all this stuff settled, man, and I'm in Liberia. One day I'm just going to sit back and just put out like 4 or 5 novels a year. Yeah, because I got them all up in here. I just got to put them now. I'll put like 4 or 5 novels a year. You know, and I want to do film work. I want to do film with documentaries. There's no reason why all this stuff are there. I don't know about pulling Nollywood. Nollywood, see the whole thing. Like I said, this is the problem with Nollywood, right? If something is centered in Mali, right? The Nollywood, oh man, it ain't Nigerian, like that, you know.
That's the issue.
That's the issue. It's tribal. The only group of people that could pull this off is African Americans, because we're not partial to any part of Africa. Like Wakanda, when Black Panther was made, they made sure to include every single African tribe was represented in Wakanda. You saw that, right? It was a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There were Nigerians complaining about the South African accents they heard. There were South Africans complaining about the Nigerians. And we African Americans sitting around just like, yo, chill. We're all black. So the only group of people that could do this, us in the West, that basically have our mindset, our Pan-Africanist mindset.
I still really can't understand why the whole black world can watch a Nollywood movie. When I go to Jamaica, they watch Nollywood movies. These dudes sit on YouTube watching Nollywood. Like they boo dudes. Huh?
It's a popular thing now. Everybody around the world, as far as black people, is all into it.
Yeah, it's got to get the black American. I think Nollywood got short.
We love what? Drama. Drama is what we love.
They got drama.
Very filled with drama. Good stuff.
They got drama. See, well, I think the thing when I watch it, since going there and spending time there and actually being out in semi-rural and seeing these things and learning about the politics, then I can understand these movies more. So now, like I can watch them and understand. So I think that's what it is. But I don't know. I just don't like how we're disconnected, man. Like we don't. They're all jamming the Afro beats, and we don't.
I love Africa. That's the one part I agree with you. When I'm in Africa, I love my Afro beats, man. I love what's his name? I love Burna Boy. I love Singer. I love techno. I love all these brothers. I mean, like that, you know.
Especially, see, Burna Boy is hip hop on the low. If you really watch him closely, because Burna Boy loves Jamaican and American music, and he pays a lot of tribute in his music. If you listen to it, you know. So
I like Singer, and who's the other one I like? Well, this became one song became my anthem, right? When I was in Nigeria. Well, Fireboy, you know, Fireboy. That is the boy right there. Yo, Fireboy. Well, let me see if I can play it. Let me see if I can play it here. You know.
Yeah, and I don't know, color. We probably have to
that's it.
Another time because
right.
We know I know we're always going over time, but I definitely have to wrap it up.
Let me see if I can play it.
Play a little short little excerpt. It's fine.
Okay.
And then we just wrap it up.
Okay. Let me play it. Let me take my Bluetooth off. Let's see. Bluetooth off. Play it. I play a little bit of it, man. You know, the Fireboy. This is on. He's saying, I love your melanin. He like the melanin. Very Afrocentric. You're talking about exotic love, you know? Yo, man, I tell you what, when I was with my fiance in Liberia last year, I fell in love. I really fell. I was looking at her, and this music was playing right there. We was on the beach. Yo, that was the most romantic. I'm not trying to sound corny, but that was the most romantic shit. Yo, they was playing this at my engagement party. I was like, yo, baby, this song made me fall deeply in love with you.
What's the title of the song, bro? I gotta put that.
It's called "Jealous." Jealous by Fireboy. Jealous.
Jealous by Fireboy. So family, that's us jamming and
All right, Bomani's about to fall asleep. Let's get out of here.
No, you know me. I work. Sometimes people wonder if I sleep, but you know I got a number of work here to do. But family, appreciate everybody tuning in for me and my brothers to talk to you about
had another productive conversation, everything like that. You know,
Black Power.
Right, brothers. I'll talk to y'all later, man. Y'all peace out.
All right,
peace. Brother Kala and Mufasa for joining us, and we're gonna keep it strong, family. Until next time, family. It's all about Black Power Nation building. Let's organize ourselves and get this job done, and make sure that we don't have people stopping our flow.
All right, peace, brothers.
All right,
Black Power. Black Power.